All right, sorry about that. This is one of the reasons why the Teradek is so hard to diagnose, because you have a simple problem like changing the bitrate, or you have a simple task like changing the bitrate, and then it causes like 3 different problems in 3 different areas. Like I had to go into the backpack and reset the bond. I had to go into the dashboard and re-enter the stream key. And now imagine ICE having to do this, or having to do this all on this, the side of Hollywood Boulevard. So you can kind of understand why things, why he gets so stressed. Is it his fault? Well, it's a little his fault, but there's so many things that go wrong all at once with a product this complicated. Yes, if the Teradek had a catchphrase, it definitely would be "I am diagnosed," because it is diagnosed every day with a multitude of problems. Just use a Note 8. Coggins, what did you mean? You don't think I say that every second of every day? Actually, I was just looking up, well, I don't want to do this now. I was looking up a stream setup that's something between the S8 and the Teradek. Something simple, but something that, ICE would still like to eat, like to use. Alright, let's check the, sorry, I can't show the screen right now. I think the IP address pops up every couple of screens, so. Alright, it's 3.5. That's the bit rate. So, I'm just going to look around the room for a little bit, and I'm going to compare it later, so you guys can just watch. I'm going to try this again tomorrow morning when it's light out, so the light can come into the room. I have a feeling it's going to look kind of bad no matter what, just because it's so dark in here. Look at this. Look at this. 2 phones broken. He went to Europe. I don't want to show any private DMs, but he went to Europe and both these phones were working. Both of them. They didn't even have cracked screens. Can you believe that? 2 phones broken in 10 days. I don't even know how that's possible. But it is. So this is kind of something that I told him about. So like, sometimes he asks me, like, what do you think the problem is? And I tell him it's really, really hard to know, because if he has 2 phones and both of them have been broken in 10 days, then just imagine what the inside of the Bond looks like. The Bond is the Teradek, for those who don't know. It's officially called the Bond 2. I mean, the entire inside could be held together by, bubble gum and rubber bands. I mean, how many times has he thrown it on the ground and accidentally broke it without realizing? It's just the difference is that a phone has a giant glass screen, whereas the Teradek is encased in a giant cube of metal. So it's very, difficult to know if something broke, if it indeed did. Yes, he also burned Ouija boards, or Ouija boards, so, we'll never know if that's it. It could be anything, really. Hold on. Yeah, the GoPro's not very good. Let me show you guys what I was looking at. I mean, ultimately, I would like him to move away from the Teradek, but if he doesn't want to, then this is what I would like to replace the GoPro with. This is a Sony FDR X3000. This is, I've been told this is what CJ Ride uses. And it looks really cool. It pretty much is, it's pretty much a GoPro with low light capability, so you can see in the dark. Not like super well, but you can see better than the GoPro. We were also looking at, let me see, Sony X, what is it, Sony, oh, XR10X. Okay, we're also looking at this, the Sony XR0. It's really expensive, as you can see. It's almost $700, and it doesn't even come out until October 17. The only problem with this is really good in low light, and it's super small. It would pretty much be perfect. The only problem is that it is not a wide-angle lens. It's a wide lens, but it's not nearly as wide as the GoPro. It's pretty much as wide as a camera can be without distorting the image. You know, like when ICE uses the GoPro, the streets and the buildings kind of look curved. This goes as wide as possible without curving anything. So if you know what I'm talking about, that's kind of the reason he doesn't want to use it, because I don't know if he likes the curve effect, but he likes how wide it makes everything seem. So we probably won't go with this. This seems, oh, it's not what? This seems to be like a good middle ground. But, let me see something. But if we wanted to use a cell phone, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the S8 is a bit of a meme in the sense that any Android phone works just as well. Am I right? Like the S8 doesn't have anything special that makes it better for live streaming. I know a lot of people say that it has the new Qualcomm chips, which have better modems internally, or something along those lines. But I don't think that matters if you use a wireless hotspot. Am I right? Because if you're using a wireless hotspot, you're not using the cell modems inside the phone, right? You're just using the wireless, you know, whatever piece of technology in the phone allows it to attach onto a hotspot, and then you're just streaming off of that. It's then the MiFi box that has the actual modems internally. So I was thinking, well, what I was thinking is, because he loves wide angle, right? And that's one of the reasons he doesn't like to use the S8 is because he really, really, really likes wide angle. Like, he mentions it all the time. So what I was thinking is we can get him a moment. Hold on. No case. All right, so this is a company called Moment. I'm sure some of you have heard about them. They sell lenses for phones. And I'm pretty sure they don't have, yeah, they only have iPhone battery cases. But if we look at their normal cases, okay, so they do have one for the Galaxy. The problem is that they don't ship until late November. But if we bought him a Pixel XL, I could get him one of these cases, and then I could get him one of these lenses. So we can get a wide angle lens. Where is it? Oh yeah, so here, he can get a wide angle lens, and it attaches directly to the case, right? So it's a little expensive. I mean, you have to pay $99 for the lens, and then you have to pay, I forgot how much the case was. It can't be more than $100 though. Huh. It's like 30 bucks. Yeah, so he'd pay $130 plus whatever the Pixel costs to turn his phone into basically something that looks exactly like the GoPro. I mean, at least I think, right? I'm not a quality file, if that's even a word. Does it come with a protected case? Yes, it does. It comes with the case is a protected case, which is another thing. So he doesn't really, I'm not sure if he doesn't like using a case or he just like forgets to put it on or something. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly why he doesn't use a case for his stuff, because he has cases, he just doesn't put them on, or if I put them on, he takes them off. It's like it's like a dog with a sweater on Christmas. He just like tries to get it off no matter what. Pixel LX is great, but the Galaxy have the best decoder for live streaming. Yeah, but Coggins, what I was saying is that if you attach a phone to a MiFi spot, or a MiFi hotspot, which is what we do, it's not using its decoder, is it? Like, it's sending the picture to the MiFi box, and the MiFi box is the one that's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean decoder for live streaming? Like, it's getting its internet from the MiFi box. So why would the decoder, what did I say, LX? XL. Why would the decoder inside the phone matter? I mean, am I crazy? I mean, it sounds right when I say it. Well, the phone would, here, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't want to leak anything because I have to go into his private closet, but I don't think there's anything in there. All right. Okay, so hold on one second here. Okay, this keeps getting loose, but besides that, all right, so this is a Mophie business class wireless hotspot. I bought this the day he left for the UK. Basically what this is, it's pretty much the top of the line wireless hotspot. You know those tiny little Verizon wireless modems he carries around? Those are really good for what he needs them for, because he has to put 6 of them inside his backpack. But if you're only using one, this is pretty much what you need. It's basically 2 of these antennas take the signal in from the cell towers, and then the other 2 broadcast it outwards. So you would have this inside your backpack attached to a small battery, which you would, have underneath, and then that's it. No, don't say Enel. It's not. Does this really look like a bomb? It looks exactly like a wireless router to me. This is pretty much what almost all of you have in your home. It just, doesn't actually attach to anything. It just sits there, and it takes in, instead of taking in Ethernet from the wall, it just takes in internet from the cell towers, the air or whatever. So if you got if his cell phone would be attached to this wirelessly. So if that's the case, I don't think it matters what phone he's using, right? Because the Pixel XL and the Samsung Galaxy S8, they wouldn't be utilizing their internal modems to broadcast anything, right? Oh wait, yes they would, because they're broadcasting from the Bitstream app. But I'm not sure if it matters. That's the thing. How do you, I Google this all the time, right? And I spend hours just researching this kind of stuff online. But people have only IRL streamed, or IRL streamed for a year at most. I know Justin, from Justin TV used to do this kind of stuff, but it wasn't even close to this. There's not a lot of information on exactly how this works. The only thing we can really do is buy everything, which I think will work, and then just test it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, we just return it. A lot of you are saying it matters, and I mean, if it's right, if what you're saying is true, then I guess we'll just use the S8. But I have a theory that one of the reasons he doesn't want to use the S8 is because it doesn't have a wide angle attachment for it. We bought the only one I could find, and it didn't work very well, so he just stopped using it. Oh, is ISIS stream down? I was wondering why there are 300 people in here. Hold on, let me read some of this. It should work over Wi-Fi to that router, but you need to follow. No, because we would put the router inside a backpack. He wouldn't be carrying the Teradek around. It would basically just be this and a small battery underneath, and then that would be it. That's all he would need. And then we would also take a, 1 second, let me find something. All right, so then he would also use something like this. This is a selfie stick with a built-in battery, right? So this little phone here wouldn't exist, but basically you'd have a charging cable going, or USB-C, going from here to right around here, and it would just wrap around and then connect. So basically it would be a completely wireless setup. There would be no wires, there'd be nothing. You would basically have this sitting inside your backpack. You would have a small battery connected to the bottom, and then you would have your selfie stick in your hand with the phone, on the end, of course. And then we would just need to decide what phone we would want. If we get the Pixel, it can be wide angle all the time. But if we get the Galaxy, there are currently, as far as I know, there are currently no wide angle attachments for the Galaxy. If anyone can find one, you can DM me on Twitter. I've only been able to find one, and it did not work for what we needed it to. I mean, even if the Galaxy S8's modems are better for live streaming, it can't be that much better. I mean, I've seen people live stream on all sorts of Android phones. I think it's just because the S8 or the Note 8 is so popular, and it's the most popular Android phone, that people just, say it's the best. Ask Gunrun on Twitter. Yeah, we've been in contact with Gunrun, but he specializes in... another theory I had is that the reason Gunrun's setup works so often is because he doesn't use it as often as ICE. I know this sounds like an excuse, but every time ICE uses his setup, he has the possibility to accidentally break it some way or somehow internally. Like if he puts it down too hard, all it takes is one single wire coming loose inside that metal box, and we'll never know what's wrong. I mean, it really could be anything. Gunrun is also it's his whole job is to make stuff like this. So obviously anything he has is going to be better. Yeah, we can't get an iPhone because it doesn't have a live streaming app. He actually could live stream on the iOS YouTube app, but then he wouldn't be able to use text-to-speech, or donations couldn't pop up on stream. So, can't do that. All right. I mean, I was only really supposed to test this right now. We'll do a much longer and bigger test tomorrow morning, so we can go outside and I can monitor it from the PC while I streams. But right now I just wanted to make sure everything works. Let me check one more thing. There's a way to check which modems are working and which ones aren't, but I don't know how. I see he pulls it up sometimes. Okay, so see, this is the problem. Currently, only 2 of our modems are working. So we have 5 modems. There are currently 5 modems inside this backpack on my back, and only 2 of them are working. But the thing is, there were only 2 working when ICE was streaming as well. I would like to wait till the Pixel 2 launches, but the thing is there aren't any of these cases for it, and I really want to get one of these cases. If they come out with the Pixel 2 case, pretty quickly, then we'll consider it, but honestly, it's not like he needs the newest phone for this. The current phones are more than capable of live streaming on. There is better ways for him. I mean, there are obviously ways to live stream, right? We could actually attach a huge satellite to his back, like a legitimate satellite, and he could use that. But I mean, there are so many points of failure. It's just, I don't, where do you even begin diagnosing something like this? You have to basically, each time something goes wrong, I have to rebuild the backpack from scratch. And it works, but then like 24 hours later, it all breaks again. So like there are so, and I don't even understand what I'm doing. Like I'm basically following a guide I wrote and then just doing the steps over and over and over. And even when we call Teradek, you know, sometimes they don't even know what we're doing. Because there are currently only 2 other people, or there's only 1 other person in the world with this setup. It's us and it's Gunrun. And Gunrun doesn't use it the amount we use ours, so he doesn't encounter some of the similar problems that we come in contact with, or we come across. He messes with the settings. He really doesn't mess with the settings too often. At least I don't think. He never messes with them in front of me. Like I doubt he's in here at night, just like, just like clicking on things randomly. Have you Yes, I just updated. Okay, so this is another reason this might be working now and it wasn't working earlier. I updated the Teradek to the latest firmware. It was about 3 firmwares behind, so I just updated it to the latest one. So we're currently on like 8 point something. I would like to go outside with this, but I can only use the GoPro, and you wouldn't be able to see anything. Does this remind anyone else of the stream where Ice? I forgot exactly what was going on. I remember that it was the stream where Ice exposed Haley was still living in his room at 1600 Vine. I don't think she actually was living there. I mean, I wasn't part of the cast and crew back then, but I just remember that post blowing up on Reddit. Those were good times. I miss 1600 Vine. I wish I could have been there. I was hired right after he left. Actually, I was hired when he was still living there, but I didn't move to California since... I didn't move to California until after he left for the EU. I was hired the day of the 24-hour Greek and Ice stream. I know you guys, if you want me to be completely honest with you, I don't know if this ruins the illusion, but the only time, like as far as I have been hired, I have never seen anything actually be scripted. The only thing we do that could be considered scripted is that I will purposely call people and tell them to show up at certain places for the stream. But I always tell them, don't make it seem like, oh, I just showed up. Like if someone shows up and I called them, you'll know that I called them. We're not trying to trick you. We're just saying, hey, can you be here so you can hang out with Ice? You know, it's planned. It's not scripted. The only thing that was ever scripted that I think actually was scripted, like they actually tried to pull one over on you guys, was when they were in London and Scuff Steve Jobs called Ice in Greek and told them not to leak that photo, and then he was banned. The ban part isn't the scripted stuff. It's when Scuff Steve Jobs called Ice. But that was pretty obvious, right? No, he doesn't script his streams. I'm just saying that sometimes I will make sure someone is in a certain place, like so they can meet Ice. You know what I'm saying? Not like people you've never seen. It's like DMing someone on Twitter and saying, "Hey, Ice will be here tonight. You want to hang out with him?" And then he shows up. It's not like we don't like write contracts and we're not trying to pull stuff over on you guys. I just want to make sure that, you know, Ice has as much fun as possible. So if I, you know, think someone will add to the stream, I quickly get in contact with them. Like, you know, Brandon back when he used to be on the stream, I would message him and say, hey, ICE is doing this tonight, you want to come hang out? And he'd say, oh yeah, sure. So that's the closest thing to scripting possible. All right, I think, all right, so real quick, I'm fixing the Teradek in the meantime, but assuming one day ICE does want to switch to a cell phone setup, is what I explained pretty much like the best we can get? For those of you who weren't here when I explained it, it would basically be a selfie stick with a built-in battery. So the entire selfie stick is one big battery. So you basically could attach it to the phone and you'd have battery all day, and you wouldn't have to have any wires attaching to yourself. He would use a Mophie enterprise class wireless hotspot in his backpack, and he would have a small battery attached to the bottom, so this thing could be powered. And then he would buy a wide-angle lens from Moment, and he would attach it to whichever phone he has. If it's a Galaxy S8, he would use the Galaxy S8 one, and if it's a Pixel, he would use the Pixel. Galaxy S8 isn't out until November, or the Galaxy S8 case isn't out till November, so he would have to get a Pixel for the meantime. The battery probably won't last too long. I don't know. I mean, how do you find out how much battery something like this takes per hour? I don't really know, but we're currently using, let me see. Okay, so this is what we just bought. We bought this like yesterday. And the reason I bought this is because I wanted to help Greek with his streams a little bit, so we offered to let him use this for a few days. And this requires an AC outlet. So we bought this in the hopes that this can kind of power the Mophie hotspot inside the backpack. And this has 27,000 milliamps. I'm not like super tech savvy, so to find out how long this will last, I basically just have to buy it, test it, and then if it doesn't last as long, return it. I'm sure if I did some more research, I could figure this out without needing to buy it, but you never know. I mean, they always either over-exaggerate or under-exaggerate for these types of numbers, so it's not guaranteed that it won't work. Hold on, someone's calling me. Yo, what's up? Hey, what are you saying? I'm not snitching. I think someone, my number's leaked, so someone just called me as ICE and said, why are you snitching? So that was either Greek or the real ICE. All right, I think that's it. I mean, this setup, I need permission to buy it since it'll probably be around, how much is a Pixel XL? Hold on. It's $650. So let's say it's like $700. We already have this. $700 for that, $250. $750. It's basically like $1,000. So like if I had $1,000, I could probably build him the ultimate cell phone setup. But I don't. So so until he gives me permission, I'll have to continue to, work on the Teradek. But like it's okay, well, hold on. Is it not working now? Like if this was a stream, right? Let's say I'm ICE, right? And this was a stream. Is this not good quality, or is this like really bad? Because it's hard for me to tell. At least right now. I mean, I'll look at the video later, but Is this not like, hey guys, what's it going? You know, what it do, ladies? Or I do a terrible ICE impression, but you know what I mean. Like if I'm ICE and this is a stream, is this something you would all complain about on Reddit? Or is this like good quality, you know, good entertainment, just sitting in the bedroom doing nothing? All right. I'm getting a lot of goods. Is this actually 720? Don't forget, it's also very dark in here, so it's obviously going to be not as good as it would be in the daytime. Yeah, I mean, I think this looks pretty good to me too. But here's the problem: like we do that, like I don't have to actually stream on George Allen to test this. Like we can just look at this through the Teradek dashboard and through VLC. So we do this all the time. Like we do test it, right? And this is pretty much what we do. We stream it and we make sure it's good. We make sure nothing's going to shut down in 20 minutes, and it works. And then we start the stream. But then all of a sudden, when he goes outside, it just everything goes to hell. And that's what I'm currently trying to figure out. Because I don't understand why it would suddenly stop working when he takes it outside. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my only guess is that he's just losing signal, right? Like I know everyone spams, it's the Teradek's fault, and maybe it is, but that's the only thing I can think of, right? Like he goes outside, there's suddenly no signal, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's 1,000 people here now? Has ICE not got the stream back up? Hold on. All right. Well, I didn't mean for this to be like a replacement stream. Just coincidental timing. Yeah, I think so. What I was saying is basically like when he takes the stuff outside, the only reason I can imagine it's suddenly. Why is everyone saying call ICE? Did something happen? Hold on. Let me check the Reddit. Mods are deleting all posts that link to Jacob exposing the streams are scripted. Oh my goodness. Why did I say that? You're all awful. Call ICE. ICE, both of ICE's phones are broken. Nothing happened, don't worry. Okay, thank you, Kyle. Guys, both of ICE's phones are broken, all right? He has a Galaxy S8 on him that, from what he says, does not have a number attached to it. There is no way to contact him. All right, I'm sorry. I've got to go. I've got to keep workshopping this outside of the stream. I just wanted to make sure it worked, and we'll most likely test this again tomorrow. Call Greek? Greek doesn't have an American number, I don't think, and if he does, I don't have it. Huh. All right, so I'm going to go, but if you guys have any more, because like the Teradek stuff I've pretty much got a handle on. I mean, I get advice from people all the time, and a lot of it's very helpful, but we've pretty much done everything we possibly can in terms of the Teradek, like fixing it. Like we fix it every day, and then it suddenly stops working. If anyone has any more suggestions on a possible backup setup, more so than what I just explained, then you can go ahead and DM me on Twitter. I think we pretty much have everything except the phone and wide-angle lens, because we do have this router. It's fully operational and it will work very well. I've tested it already, just not streaming. Actually, you know what? Greek's probably going to use this when he starts streaming, so we'll see how it works with him, I guess. Did ICE not update? Hold on one second. Hold on, I'm replacing the Sims. Okay, it's not. All right, I wasn't watching the stream, so I don't know what happened. But if something went wrong, I will call Brent because ICE did say he was going to meet up with him and ask what's going on. But I can't do that on stream because Brent may not want to be on stream, or he may not want whatever he says to be exposed. So I'm gonna go and. We will probably stream tomorrow on this channel to test it. I can't promise anything, but I don't see why we wouldn't do that. So if something goes wrong, then you'll know about it. And I will update you on Twitter the moment I find out where ICE is. So just look into that. All right, thank you very much for helping me. And I will see you all later. If I can figure out how to end the stream, because I actually don't know how to do that. This is my first time using the Teradek. I think we might have a 24-hour stream incoming because I actually don't know how to end the stream. I guess I can just turn the Teradek off, but there has to be a better way to do that. Should I just go put the Teradek in the corner of the room so you can have a 24-hour live stream of ICE's bedroom? No, I can't do that. All right, guys, I figured it out. Thank you very much once again, and I think we will see you tomorrow.